Hi, I'm Paul Sullenberger. In this video, we're going to cover the installation of CeramicSpeed's OSPW Aero for 11-speed Shimano 9100 and R8000 series derailleurs. Start with the bike in a stand, shift down to the lower part of the cassette, and remove the wheel first, followed by the chain. And we'll install a new uncut chain for the OSPW Aero installation, and we'll set this chain aside. And now with a Torx T10, we'll bring the derailleur back and look on the bottom to remove the retaining screw. And before we release the cage, we're actually going to go ahead and shift up to clear the derailleur motor body. Now we can carefully let the derailleur spring tension unwind and remove the cage and spring assembly. We will reuse the spring and the factory derailleur spacer here. We'll now unbox the OSPW Aero system. First, we have OSPW Aero cage assembly, followed by pulley wheel oil for maintenance. And finally, we have information card with a tension sheet and sticker sheet. We'll now go ahead and you can line up the spring onto the derailleur, going from the second from lowest spring tension setting. And then with the dust cover and the spring ready to go, we will align these, bringing the derailleur back, pointing the spring up in the derailleur body, and then bring everything together easily. When your spring and dust cover line up properly, there will be no gap, and then we can take and bring this back over the ramped stop tower and into place here, having a nice lateral fitment and still clear motion. We go ahead and reinstall our Torx T10 screw on the bottom, and that'll secure everything in place, and we'll tighten this at a moderate torque. Let me go ahead and confirm one more time. Easy, clear movement, nothing binding, no issues. We'll shift back down to the lower part of the cassette. We'll install the wheel, and we're ready to install the chain. To install the chain, we're going to rotate the derailleur backwards and then bring a little bit of pressure down on the cage, so that way we can feed the chain above the lower pulley and under the upper pulley and out the front of the cage. We'll pull this through. And now we'll go below the lower pulley, but above the tower screw at the bottom. Let me make sure chain moves through, feeling smooth. Wrap around the cassette, over our chain ring, and we're ready to measure length. Chain length measurement will be the same whether it's a 1x or a 2x arrangement, using your smallest option up front, small chain ring in a 2x, or around the chain ring in a 1x. And then in the smallest cog in the rear, we're going to bring just a little bit of tension on the bottom, making sure the chain is properly seated around the cassette and everywhere in between. In this option here with the 1x chain ring, we're going to go ahead and run a full uncut chain and just bring together with a quick link. If there were extra chain links or running in a 2x, what we want is just a little bit of engagement of the spring on the rear derailleur minus one link. So this is actually going to come out to be almost perfect in the 1x orientation. We'll now go ahead and check our upper and lower stops, as well as our B adjustment, giving around 5 millimeters of gap from the top of the cassette. We're going to check our B gap, space between the top of the cassette and the upper pulley, and we're targeting just 4 to 7 millimeters, nice and close placement there, and that's adjusted here for the B gap adjustment. And next, we're going to look at our alignment of the top, making sure the derailleur can appropriately line with the largest cog without too much extra play. And then we'll come down and do the same with the smaller side. And again, we're going to take a look from the lowest cog lined up with the pulley, ensuring our alignment is adequate. Once you've adjusted your upper and lower stops with the chain installed, you want to go ahead and check and be plenty sure you have gap between the front of the cage and your cassette. In a 2x system, if the chain is too short, that clearance can get very close and cause issues. And here, we're looking good. B gap is adjusted, upper and lower sets are done. When you do need to remove the wheel or install the wheel, it is easier to be done in the lower portions of the cassette. If you have a 2x orientation, you want to go ahead and be in the small chainring, and a 1x orientation in the second, third, or fourth cog from the smallest is the best place. Now you're ready to go ride.